Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Oh So Curious times DCU Daily times MCU Weekly. A lot of stuff today. So, we are here to talk about a whole bunch of stuff in regards to box office, Super Bowl, lots of quick hits for you guys. Got some movie reviews with Nickel Boys, got some, Daredevil, MCU Weekly, all that stuff. And lots of DCU Daily, lots more Superman and lots of regards to licensing. So we will jump into all that and so much more, but let's get that beautiful intro already with James Bond. Oh my god, guys, I have Liz with us today. Liz, how are you doing on this lovely Friday evening? Probably gonna go into Saturday evening. Hopefully not, but oh, you are muted.
Every time. Hello, gang. OMG, I'm good. I'm very good. Good to see everybody. Thanks for joining the chat. Hit those likes, gang. We hit those likes, please. But John, how are you?
I'm
Excited to get
great.
into it.
I am doing, pretty damn good. I had a lot of fun stuff today.
Woohoo!
But as I was saying backstage, I popped my escape room cherry today and had a lot of fun with that. So
Oh,
that was
did you escape? We actually never got to the end result.
yeah,
Escape.
or
Okay.
maybe I didn't. Sorry, I tried to pull a Vsauce there.
I mean, so life is feeling kind of like an escape room these days, isn't
I
it?
mean, yeah,
Ooh, let
like
me out. Let me out. What's the code? What do I gotta do?
It kind of feels like I remember a great meme where it was like, just tape this to your window and then everything makes sense and it says directed by David Lynch. And I'm like, yeah, that honestly, yeah, just
Fair.
putting that on just the world
I think these
makes a
days
lot of
mine would
sense.
be more like M. Night Shyamalan or something like that.
Yes. Also, hello to Morkana and Lenny. Lovely to see you guys. But
Hello.
before we talk too much and filibuster, we gotta make sure that we're enough and hit that news intro. So let's get into the news.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number two.
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
Robert
You're
Downey.
kidding. I can't open the envelope without this.
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
Time to get into so much news. And we have a couple things of news, not a ton, but first off is the obvious one is it was getting into the box office. So apparently, Dogman, to the surprise of no one, was the reigning champion of the box office this day with 33 million. And Companion had a pretty good debut with 10 million. Are you shocked that the family movie that a lot of people can go to managed to snag the opening? Or you're like, oh my God, no, that's crazy.
No, and again, I did see both. We're going to talk about them next week so that John gets a chance to see both this coming weekend.
I'll be seeing them both tomorrow.
But I mean, my theaters were a direct comparison to this. I had 4 other people in my theater for Companion, and my theater for Dogman was almost completely sold out. So those numbers are completely accurate to audiences and butts in seats. But again, we don't get family friendly films on the regular, so it never surprises me when a kids movie does well. So good for them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm biased because, as I was saying last Also Curious, is when I read the Captain Underpants books. Even though I didn't read Dogman, it's still like Dave Pilkey and that animation style and that vibe and the similar kind of jokes. So
Well,
I was
and you had said that Dogman was a story created by the characters in Captain Underpants.
yeah, so like that was like that. It's like the book. So it's written by Dave. It's still written and illustrated by Dave.
So I'm glad
but
we
like,
had that conversation, not to spoil anything, but in Dogman, the characters do create little stories themselves, and I was like, this is so meta. Like, John just told me that the other characters then created this story, and now these characters are creating a story. It was like, this is just how I don't know. It struck me as really, really cute. So I was like, oh my gosh, John totally just mentioned this. And here we are.
And I love like kind of like the weird wholesomeness of like Dogman, where he's just like, yeah, he's like a cute dog, but he also has the powers of, a great cop. And so I'm like, you know what, that's kind of nice to see. And then, I like I do like some of the cast. I mean, I hate Pete Davidson, but like,
we know
that's a given. But like, I don't have to see his face. Like, he's playing, someone who's deliciously and over the top evil. So that's really nice to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is not very shocking. We have the family movie, being at number one. Crazy. But I'm glad Companion is getting stuff. A bunch of my friends watch it. They all said it was fantastic. You said it was fantastic. Obviously, we'll get into more of that next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is great. I absolutely love to see this. And more people are entering the chat now. Caleb, Honka Honka, hey, how you doing? We got Jalen Harris, we got TC24, Morkana. Thank you, Morkana, for mentioning my shirt. I don't want to turn around. It's kind of awkward, but on the back it says "Look Up" and it has his the crest on the back, so I really like that.
Nice.
But yeah, this is great. I love to see this. So way to go to everyone involved, and I can't wait to see both tomorrow. I have both. I'm pulling a Lizz. I'm seeing multiple movies in one sitting. It's just I can't go too far.
I did today.
I can't go too far because I got to go home and feed my dog. So like I can't spend like the entire day at the theater. I would love to, but like I do have a time limit. So but that's okay. Next thing that we wanted to talk about was Super Bowl stuff. So we got a influx of information in regards to what previews we will be getting. Yes, we already knew that Superman, unfortunately, will not be having a TV spot. They will save everything for the Puppy Bowl. But of course, like the usual suspects are here. Like the biggest movies that we're getting is like Jurassic World, Thunderbolts, Mission Impossible.
Right.
All that stuff. So yeah, as we have the Super Bowl between the two worst teams that nobody, like 99% of America, doesn't want to see. We're gonna be getting a whole bunch of like Fantastic Four and Captain America, all those Pixar's Elio, the Snow White and Lilo and Stitch remakes, just every IP under the sun. M3gan just. Are you excited to see these trailers, or are you just like, I'm kind of sick of some of these and I don't want to watch them, but whatever.
Well, so like we've talked about this throughout the week this week. I'm getting a little jaded with Super Bowl, like especially with the commercials, because they air them like a week prior to, and like that was the whole point of the Super Bowl, is we were supposed to be surprised, and they were supposed to be laugh out loud funny, and they were supposed to be outrageous, but seeing them a week in advance, it kind of dulls that shine. I also have this problem with them playing trailers during the Super Bowl, because you're not watching the Super Bowl alone at your house. You're usually there with friends and family. There's chatting going around. You're getting up to get food. You're getting up to take a pee. And you're not going to sit and watch a trailer. Like, trailers may not necessarily impact you the same way they would if you were at home or seeing it prior to a film coming up. So I'm kind of like mixed on it. Especially because, again, once the trailer's out, then you're going to see it every other time you go to the theater for a couple months. But I'm going to try and watch as much as I can and try to pay attention here and there. But I'm also going to be spending time with my family, so
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I kind of can see that. But in the world of like streaming and social media, it's just like the idea of Super Bowl being kind of, I don't want to say less relevant because people still love the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But I feel like, just have very little trailers, but they're so desperate to like get people to a theater, get that money in. So I can kind of see that. Also it's nice to see Novocaine getting some love because the vibe I get from that, I'm super stoked. I will say the vibe from the trailer, maybe this was intentional, maybe it was not, but it feels like the trailer was edited on iMovie. I think I might have mentioned this before. It just feels like a very cheap trailer. Like, I don't know why. Just like I get like a sense of like super low budget indie movie vibes.
Well, like you saying that makes me wonder again, is this another situation where they're putting like all like, is it going to be a more serious film? Because it is supposed to be about, like a kidnapping and him trying to get his girlfriend back. And I just wonder, did they have they shown all the funny stuff yet? In this one trailer, I'll wait and see if we get another trailer that might have some different content in it, but we'll see. But I just do want to point out, TC24 was talking about how he misses the old school commercials at the Super Bowl, and the stuff we're seeing these days just doesn't hit anymore, and it doesn't. We're a lot more PC with things. We're a lot more thoughtful with things. Now it's a really specific targeted audience. Now we're getting those like religious ads at the Super Bowl as well, which has been something new in the past couple of years. But hopefully we get some funny ones. Hopefully Doritos throws some in there. I'm sure we'll get a funny Budweiser or Heineken one. We'll see what happens, but I don't know. It's like, again, them playing it a week prior to is like the most disappointing thing for me, but Novocaine looks so cool, Caleb. I agree.
Yeah, although Lenny's like, it's so weird to me that you guys have advertisements during a supporting event. We also have advertisements for like, we also have like
companies,
pharmaceuticals, when us in New Zealand are the only places on planet Earth that have pharmaceutical ads. So I don't know.
Well, and again, just a little aside there, I was talking with some doctors on my podcast about that, and they were like, and I said, do your patients ever walk in and say, oh, I saw this ad, I think I need this? And they were like, no. They're like, we don't understand who those ads are targeted for, because that's not how the medical field works.
It's so funny because it's like,
it's bizarre.
Doctors aren't watching it and recommending it. Patients aren't recommending it. So it's like, who is that for? That's crazy. But let's not get into too much controversial shit
we'll move along
this day. But so we're gonna be getting a shit ton of trailers. So look ahead for trailers. Maybe not fun Doritos commercials like you guys want, but I think those days are kind of behind us, being creative and all that shit. So because they got to spend all the money on actually placing the commercial into the Super Bowl and not necessarily, actually having the budget to make the commercial. So sad days. But speaking of controversy, we're just gonna kind of just talk about this really quickly because it does bring up a lot of icky stuff, and we don't want like people to get uncomfortable or anything like that. There's Zoe Saldaña responded to her Amelia Perez co-star Carla Sofia Gason's tweets, who if you don't know, it was revealed she said some kind of not great stuff in the past, and that was kind of spread to light. So Zoe Saldaña responded to her tweets saying, it's like, it saddens me that we are having to face this setback right now, but I'm happy that you're all here and that you're all still showing up for Amelia, because the message that this film has is so powerful, and the change that it can bring forward to communities that are marginalized day in and day out is important. And all that I can attest is that all of us that came together to tell the story, we came together for love and for respect and curiosity, and we will continue to spread that message. That's all we can say right now. So thank you. I think that's a very classy response to everything that's happening for, this like kind of controversial like stuff going on right now with this person. But just curious to know your quick thoughts. We're just going to kind of again gloss over. But
I mean, I
I
respect that she addressed it at all, rather than just saying, I have no comment, or you know what I mean. Like I respect that she did say something about it, that she did address it. But yeah, it's always disappointing when somebody that you think all of a sudden has this viewpoint you hadn't heard from them before, or makes a comment that seemed very out of character for them. So it's disappointing, to be fair. And again, it's certainly not going to help their chances. Like I said, after seeing The Brutalist, I don't think that they're going to get the awards that I thought they were. But certainly not now. Maybe we'll see. I don't know when voting closes for the award, but yeah, it certainly isn't going to bring more people to your production like that.
Yeah.
But,
and it's already, like one of the most controversial movies right now. And this kind of just adds to it, which, depending on who you are on the side, the people that like it or the people that hate it, it's kind of unfortunate to the people that like it, but I guess it stokes the flames of, stokes the flames of like controversy, I guess. But, that's kind of the unfortunate thing. But in terms of specifically Zoe Saldaña's, response, it was a nice, classy response. And I respect that from her. I'm sure she's got bombarded with stuff. So she's like, you know what? I understand, like, it sucks, but like the movie, and then like talked about the movie. And he's like, the movie was all about acceptance and all that stuff. So I thought that was a nice, classy response. And I like to see that. But that is it for the news today. And now we go up to Liz's favorite topic, because now we have that bossa nova elevator music that I'm going to turn on. Right?
Time to boogie, y'all. Time to boogie.
Now. There we go. A little delay, but that's okay. But first things first, Married at First Sight shocker, Peacock nabs wedding format away from Lifetime with huge deal for kinetic content. So TV show, Peacock nabs it. Thoughts?
Good for them. I actually just saw a clip. I don't know where the show is based. I want to say Australia, possibly New Zealand, where apparently the bride is walking down the aisle, and turns out the guy she's about to marry, she actually dated for like a month. So that had me intrigued. I was like, oh, now maybe you need to watch the show, because that's really interesting. But other than that, good for them. Never watched it before and never really had any interest until I saw
I have no fucking clue what this is.
It's quite literally, that's what it's called. Married at First Sight.
Cool. Moving on. More controversial shit. The Sandman ending with season 2 at Netflix, to the shock of no one. After Neil Gaiman's a fucking gigantic turd basket. All of his stuff and everything that associated with his work is getting canceled, and it was the time was nigh for the Sandman. It sucks because I've heard it's a great show. I haven't seen it yet.
It's great. It's on my list. Yeah.
And I probably am not going to watch it now, because it's probably going to end on a cliffhanger or something. So I have no skin in the game. Maybe I'll go read the comic, because I've heard the comic's great. But yeah, to the shock of no one, it's going to get canceled because Neil Gaiman is a fucking asshole. So
yeah.
Sorry.
What a bummer.
Yep. So moving on to your favorite movie of the year, Liz. Nicole Kidman's Baby Girl crosses 50 million at global box office for A24, riding wave of cultural impact. Thoughts? Very curious.
First of all, what does that even mean? What does that even mean, wave of cultural impact? And also, I would give a shit if the number was a little higher, but it's okay. It's mediocre at best. Good for you. It's a crappy film. I know some people on here like it. I can't yuck your yum. For me personally, it was one of the worst films of the year. But, too bad, so sad. I don't know. That's all I got.
Yeah. Caleb agreeing Baby Girl looks awful. According to Liz, it is awful. But I can't judge, because I haven't seen it, and I don't intend to fucking watch this shit. So
no, don't waste your time.
But yeah.
Go watch Sonic 3.
Go watch Sonic 3. Go watch Companion. Go watch Dogman. If it's still in your theater, go watch Better Man. Go watch The Brutalist.
Definitely
one of
go
those
watch
movies.
Better Man. Yeah, quite frankly, any one of those films is better than
anyone. But yeah. Next up, of course, Little House on the Prairie is now they got their eyes set on a reboot. Thoughts? have any nostalgic memories? Did you ever watch this? Did you ever read the book?
I did. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it from start to finish. And there is an episode. There is a storyline where one of the younger girls gets sexually assaulted by a clown. So I'm interested to see if they're going to stick to the full storyline, the original storyline, or if they're going to take that out because times they are changing.
I mean, I would imagine they're probably going to more so focus on the books, because from what I've heard, the TV show kind of veered a bit from the book.
Yeah. So we'll see. So unfortunately, I don't have the greatest memory when I watched it, but I did read all the books growing up as well. So I might check it out if I've got the time. But there's just so much. There's too much. I have no skin in the game. I know my mom watched it when she was a kid. I don't think my dad watched it, but I know she watched it. She probably heard about this and she's like, what the fuck? Why is nothing sacred? But yeah, that's I know that there was the tiniest bit of controversy. One of the stars was like, don't go woke with this fucking reboot like everything else. And then like one of the other stars clapped back and said, literally, we dealt with like racism and sexual assault and commented on all that shit. So like it was woke back then. It's going to be woke now. So shut the fuck up. Yeah. I mean, I think, they're going to capture like the Yellowstone crowd and, like the Westworld crowd. That's where I'm thinking.
If they get Ty Sheridan, that would be really funny.
That's why I'm thinking they're bringing it back around this time. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, if I get a chance to watch it, I will. But there's just so much, and now I've got you guys. So you guys are almost demanding that I keep up on certain things. So
you're drawing, Jesus Christ.
So yeah.
John Wayne Gacy was in Little House. Apparently so.
Maybe it's where you got the idea from. You don't know.
I don't know what came first, and let's not get into that. Anyway, to brighter things, Dan Stevens is in talks to return for Legendary's Godzilla x Kong follow-up. I'm stoked for that. I love me some Dan Stevens, and I like this franchise. It's goofy as fuck. It's so fun. Big monsters fighting.
Yeah.
Looks great.
And quite frankly, ever since he shot himself in the foot by leaving Downton, what else has he got going on? So good for you, Dan Stevens. Looking forward to seeing you come back.
I don't think he shot himself with the foot. He's part of the greatest X-Men project we've ever gotten, so that's fine with me.
All right. That's fair.
And he was also in like Beauty and the Beast, which made it, I mean, it wasn't great, but it made a shit ton of money, so that was, I mean, some people liked it.
He did not look cute in that, but anyway.
I mean, he was a man thing, beast.
But even afterward, when we had the reveal, it was like, nah, all right.
Ouch. Anyway.
He's too old for her anyway. Gross.
Anyway, Denai Guerrera joins John Cena in Matchbox movie. I don't think this is going to be about the cars or the band.
Agreed.
But cool, I guess.
Yeah. I love Danae, so that's exciting. I'm excited to see her in something new that's not necessarily about zombies or the Marvel Universe, but she's a bad bee, so girl, go ahead and get it.
Yeah, John Cena's great too, so that's awesome
to see.
True.
I do love me some John Cena.
Indeed. Next up, we have House of the Dragon Season 3 casts James Norton as Ormond Hightower.
Okay.
I know James Norton, he's in Grantchester, I think it is. He was also in that terrible Flatliners remake.
Oh yeah, I did see that. The original is so much better. I've not watched the show. I didn't even realize they were already up to season 3. So good for that guy.
Cool. Way to go, man. Yeah. Now, going back to more controversial shit, controversial depending on who you are. But Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey rounds out cast with Elliot Page and Himesh Patel. I think the both of them are pretty damn good actors.
Agreed.
So, thoughts?
Fantastic. I'm thrilled for it. I love Elliot. I love Hamish. Get that check, baby. Go ahead.
I think Himesh Patel, I really liked him ever since I saw Yesterday. He didn't really have that big of a role in Tenet, but I liked him in that from what small role he had. Yeah. Elliot Page, I've not seen him since they transitioned in anything. Not saying I've been avoiding it. Yeah, that's came out wrong. I apologize.
Well, he's been in the last 2 seasons of Umbrella Academy. He came back.
Well, I don't watch Umbrella Academy, so.
Well, it's a shame, John. It's so good.
I know. Although I heard the last season shit the bed.
Yeah, whatever.
But to be fair, I prefer Doom Patrol, and it kind of had the same vibe, and I prefer that. But yeah, but I'm so stoked for the Odyssey. Like that's gonna be fucking great. It's got the most, amazing cast. The GOAT is gonna be filming on the GOAT, but unfortunately, I'm sorry. That's it for quick. I
No more
know.
Vivian.
I know. I'm sorry. Anyway, but time to get into now our only film that we're going to be talking about today, which I'm very curious about because I haven't heard like a ton about it just with the fact that it got nominated. So, Nickel Boys, you wanted to talk about this, so I'm curious to know your thoughts.
Yeah, so thankfully my movie theater, whenever films get nominated, they re-show them, so I did get the chance to actually see it on the big screen. However, I will say if anyone else out there suffers motion sickness like I do, it is shot from first-person perspective, which I did not know. So 10 minutes in, I was queasy and uncomfortable for the rest of the day, unfortunately. So I kind of had to see the majority of the film with my eyes closed. I would open them every time the scene changed just so I knew what was going on, and then I'd have to close them again, which is a real shame. But it's a really powerful film. It is based on a quote unquote reform school for African American boys who get into trouble in Florida. It operated for over 100 years, and there were a lot of runaways, quote unquote. And so it's the story of one boy that gets sent there by mistake. Essentially, he gets a ride from a gentleman who happens to be in a stolen vehicle, and since they're both African American, they both get blamed for stealing this car. He gets sent to this reform school, and basically his future is destroyed. So it's about this one character and then one of the other gentlemen that he meets in the reform school. But I was just trying to pull up the cast because I mentioned this to you the other day, John, that our guy that we've been seeing a lot lately. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm getting his name. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Fred Heshinger, who was in Gladiator 2. He was in Thelma.
He was in Craven.
Thank you. So he is in this film as well. He doesn't have a very big role in it, but he does actually have a rather important role. But yeah, I will say the cinematography is great. If I was a person that could handle it, if I didn't have this motion sickness situation, I would say it was a beautifully made film. It was a very thoughtfully made film. And again, not to give too much away, but it is a hard film to watch. It's a hard subject matter. We've heard of these reform schools before. There's also Catholic reform schools that were like this for women who were pregnant out of wedlock, for Native American children, orphans. So we've heard these kinds of stories, but this is the first time that we really see it from the perspective of African American youths. So it is very powerful. Daveed Diggs is in it as well. If anybody knows him, I was a real surprise to see him in it, because again, it is first person perspective, so you don't see the face of the main character that often, and the pacing is rather interesting because they kind of go back and forth. So you see it from Daveed Diggs, where he is now in like the 1980s, and then when he was the younger boy at the reform school in the 1960s. So I recommend it if you get a chance to watch it. I'm not sure where it's going to be streaming, but it has been playing in theaters for the past week and a half or so at limited release. So if you get a chance, check it out. Unfortunately, I don't expect that it's going to get nominated for much, maybe screenplay, because it's based on a real place, but it's not actually based on a true story. So it might get original screenplay. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting and very powerful film for sure.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know if I'm ever gonna watch this. I don't know, just like I don't mind like POV movies, but the only one I could think of is like Hardcore Henry, which is like a super heavy.
Oh my god, I made the mistake of watching that one. Yep, that I couldn't watch any of that. Woo, that was rough for me.
But yeah, so it seems like an ingenious premise, idea. Unfortunately, I can't go to Rotten Tomatoes because they're being assholes right now. I mean, I'll try to like refresh it, but it has a 90 and a 76. There you go. 90, 76.
Yeah.
That's all I can really show of that. But it seems like a very interesting movie. Very kind of important vibes. And I think it got, well, I know it obviously got Best Picture. I don't think it got like Best Director. I don't think it got much of anything. Outside like very few. I'm actually gonna look it up right now. I know. But here's the thing. I don't think it got like nominated for like actor or like anything like that.
So it is nominated for Best Picture.
Yes.
Um,
It got Best Adapted Screenplay because it is based on a novel.
yes. Okay. Yes.
So those are the only two things it got. It's so weird to see a Best Picture nominee have only like one other nomination. That's crazy to me.
It's
like
very rare. Yeah.
it's like one of the best things, and it's just like it's not like the actors aren't nominated, the director isn't nominated, and
well, and again, it didn't really air in a lot of theaters. It was a very limited release.
that might have something to do with it.
Might very well be an independent project. I'm not entirely sure, but and there were so many noms that you're lucky to get in there at all at this point, especially
Right.
when you're up against the more popular ones. But again, this was one, if you can stomach it, if you don't have the motion sickness issue that I have,
Right.
I would recommend checking it out, because again, just the way it was shot was really unique and special for sure.
Yeah. But that's I hope it wins, the only other, I mean, I don't I mean, I don't have like a skin in the game in terms of like adapted screenplay for the other movies I've seen.
Yeah.
I think Conclave probably deserves it, because the thing is, I've heard great things about I've heard great things about Sing Sing and A Complete Unknown, so obviously we'll have to see, but I hope it gets that at the very least, because I don't think it's gonna win Best Picture, because it just like
it's not going to win Best Picture, unfortunately.
no, but it's just like, I don't know, I just feel kind of bad when it sounds like kind of like like a very creative way to tell a story, but in addition, like showcasing something that you might not see a lot
and
of.
again, not to give anything away, there is a twist towards the end where you're just like, oh shit. So that's all I can give you. Sorry, but yeah.
All right, yeah. No,
it's very, very original, very creative.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I might watch it, I might not. Who knows? But yeah, that seems. Things I didn't know a fucking thing about this movie. I just know it's like it got nominated, and that's all I know. So it was nice to see that. Like, it's like deserving of.
Yeah, even the trailer doesn't really explain what it's about.
Right.
So yeah, I understand.
But that is it for movie of the week, unless you got something more to say, because then we can get into MCU Weekly, because we're gonna be talking about we're eventually gonna be talking about Spider-Man, but we're gonna be talking about that later. Unless you want to talk about it right now, we could talk about it right now.
Whatever floats your boat, buddy.
You know what?
You and I both literally just watched it. So.
I just finished watching the second.
No,
episode.
I did too.
The first episode.
Yeah.
So fuck it. Let's
pull the trigger. Let's go.
Let's talk about it, because I thought I like the show. I think it's a really good show. I know a lot of people, like, the other day were like, John, we're apologizing to you because you were the only one excited for it, and you were right, and like it turned out to be really good. So yeah, I finally saw this, and I liked it. It's not a perfect show by any means.
Yeah.
I think it's I think some of the animation is a bit clunky. I think some of the writing also a bit clunky.
Well, for me, the animation felt like they were trying to make it look like it came straight off the comic page. So
no, I think they did. But
yeah.
At some points, when you're looking at it for too long, it looks kind of wonky. Like in like trailers, it looked fine because it was like very edited. But yeah, it's clearly going for the more Steve Ditko kind of vibe and like the early comics, and I like even though the guy seems like a dickhole, like I like the voice actor for Peter. Like
Yeah.
he's clearly trying to do Tom Holland, because as many people have stated, this is an alternate universe MCU. And at first I was like, at least try to do your own thing. But then I was like, yeah, but it's supposed to be like an alternate history MCU rather than like a fully different universe. I'm like, okay. Knowing that, I'm like, I enjoyed the second episode and like with that mindset. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, great.
Well, I had
Then
said to you, it kind of felt like a what if for me, because it was the same but slightly different here and there. But yeah, I totally agree.
yeah, I thought that this was, something. I thought it was fun. I like the theme song. Like normally I don't like
I really like the theme song. Yeah.
I don't like rap infused stuff, but I thought like I think it's just like getting like the original theme and just put rap into it because that's what the kids like. But honestly, it like works. I like the beat, like I like the vibe, and it like fits with what they're doing. I thought I was gonna hate the proto suit, but I actually like it. Um Also, we are gonna get kind of spoilery, so if you haven't watched it and really want to watch it, then please mute or skip or whatever. But I love I liked what they did with Coleman Domingo's Norman Osborn, because you can clearly tell from the voice that he's like kind of doing that like nasally Willem Dafoe voice a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, I fucking absolutely love that. Like, you could tell, like, Domingo's doing his own thing. Don't get me wrong, but like, you could tell he's just 1 second away of being going like, I'm something of a scientist myself. Like you could tell that he has that.
Who
And
knows?
I
That could be
love that.
episode 3. You don't know.
I fucking absolutely love that. I like how they're doing like different things, like thank the heavens and earth that Ned Leeds is not in this fucking show. Because I hate Ned Leeds. So I don't care if he's the CEO of sex. Fuck that guy. Like Jacob Batalon's a good actor, but like Ned Leeds, he can fully fuck off. Oh, interesting. Okay. I've never watched Ruby, so I don't know. But yeah, I like Nico Minoru, who any Runaway fans that watch it were, ego. I don't know why she's here. It's just like I feel like they just went through like the pantheon of like teenage characters they had. They're like, oh, let's grab one of the Runaways and just stick them in here. And then they had a bunch of other smaller characters, like they had perfect. Lonnie Lincoln was an interesting addition. I thought they were just gonna do like I thought he was Flash Thompson, because I hadn't seen like
yeah.
like I only had seen him in the theme, so I'm like, oh, that's Flash Thompson. But no, he's Lonnie. He's a young version of Lonnie Lincoln. So I'm like, that's interesting.
And I like him a lot so far.
Yeah, he's like it's kind of like that, it's just the orgy of evidence, because it's like this guy is gonna become a bad guy, so they got to make him the greatest person ever. So it's like, oh, he's a star athlete, but he's smart, but he's also not a dickhead. So it's just like all the things, and it's just like, all right, you could have like dialed it back like a little bit. And then you have Peter's love interest, who is there, like she's not MJ or Gwen Stacy or Felicia Hardy, so we don't give a flying fuck. But I liked how they did have references to. I liked how they had Amadeus Cho. I liked Bentley Whitman. I didn't know that character. I had to look him up. I thought he's apparently a Fantastic Four villain. And then we had Kurt Connors, which was another fucking thing of controversy, because oh my god, they made her a black woman, the fucking horror. So everyone fucking lost their minds about that one. It's just like,
well,
guys,
as much
whatever.
as that guy says it's not woke, apparently it's quite woke. So
yeah. But overall, I like the vibe. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I like the storyline they're going with. And you had a hell of a cliffhanger where Peter is a fucking idiot once again. It's like, bro, you're in like the most tightly secured building in all of New York. You don't think that there's fucking cameras in the stairwell? Like, come on. But outside of that, I mean, it's not like the five Runaways fans that exist. My one of my best friends, he adores the Runaways. I think he relatively liked the show. He loves the comics. Like Nico Minoru was like one of his favorite Marvel characters of all time. So he was very happy to see her in the show. But I like her. I like the act. I don't know the actress that plays her, but I liked her a lot. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to say, but good show so far. Not great.
Yeah.
Like I give it like a 7.
Well, and,
like,
and again, for me,
good.
I'm just getting straight 90s vibes. Like I had said prior to the show as well, that like even like just like the comedy, the little funny quips they tried to put in there was like 90s, like peak 90s cheese. So which fit the whole vibe too. So I thought it was very, very classic kind of Marvel writing from the 90s. So yeah, I'll still watch it. So far they've got me, so it's all good.
Yeah.
And all the Easter eggs in there are nice. So
yeah, I like seeing that, like all those nights, because it's like building a clearly different MCU, and I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I know Hosea was mentioning Spider-Man fatigue, but I still really like Spider-Man. The thing is,
there's a lot of story there.
I think there's a lot of potential there. And the thing is, I don't love the MCU Spider-Man movies like everybody else does.
Yes,
I hated
we know.
Homecoming.
Yes,
Far
we
From
know.
Home, I thought was a little bit better, even though it's technically a worse movie just because of Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. And then I thought No Way Home was pretty good because we finally had Spider-Man that felt like Spider-Man. So I hope they just don't shoot themselves in the foot with Spider-Man 4. I'm not totally hyped for it, but I'm just praying that they don't fuck it up. But as someone who has pretty much just like had no interest in any MCU project, the fact that like I'm giving this kind of a glowing review maybe means something to people. Like, so I liked that. I think the last thing I saw was Guardians 3. So yeah, I just, I didn't have like I was like, okay, this looks pretty good. I'll go see it. But yeah, I like it so far. And I look forward to the rest of the season. I look forward to who else they have in mind. And I also, I'm pretty sure Dan and Fiona love the fact that a corgi makes a cameo in the second episode. Twice with 2 different corgis. We had double corgi action. A lot more for the second corgi, and that corgi looked a lot like Zelda. Actually,
isn't that does James Gunn have a corgi? Not that they're related, but does James Gunn have a corgi? Is that...
I don't think so. I think he has. Well, I know Ozu's like a mutt, because that's what Crypto's based on. But
yeah,
I think he has 2 or 3 other dogs, but they're mostly like. I don't think he has a corgi though.
Okay.
But yeah, love the corgi.
I don't know. It looks more like a Scotty dog or a Schnauzer or something like that.
I kind of agree, Caleb, a little bit. Biggest problem with MCU Spider-Man, it lacks style and identity. Raimi and Webb have personality. Yeah, I think like the Raimi movies, even the third one, it's just like he put so much of his own style into the films, and like you feel like he was like doing his own thing, paying tribute to the comics, doing this, doing that, but like it all just kind of worked. Yeah, even though Spider-Man 3 fell flat in a lot of areas, you still liked that style, and Tobey Maguire still did a really good job. Mark Webb's movies were kind of lacking, especially with how much studio meddling there was with Amazing Spider-Man 2. But like the Amazing Spider-Man movies were like pretty much held by Andrew Garfield. That dude was like born to fucking play Spider-Man, and he loves that character. He loved playing that character. It was like a dream come true for him, and the fact that like they kind of shit the bed is very sad. I hope that like maybe they can give him like an animated, like I personally think he's my favorite Spider-Man, even though I know Toby is like going to be considered the best, and nobody gives a fuck about Nicholas Hammond, unfortunately. But I just like how much you want to bet Spider-Man 4 will be Mr. Negative? I don't know about that. I would prefer if they do like another. I would prefer if they do like an older villain that they have not done yet. Yeah, like I don't know who that would be, but like, I don't know. Maybe just like please, because the rumor is that like Black Cat is like going to be the main love interest, and I fucking pray to God that is the case, because I'm fucking sick of Mary Jane, Gwen Stacy, MJ Light, whatever the fuck. That's fair. Like I don't mind Zendaya playing a role in this, but it's just like, whatever. But we've been talking too much about Spider-Man, and let's not have the, because Jose has Superman Spider-Man fatigue. So let's move on. But we have a bunch of other stories. First things first is your boy Charlie, who's your best friend now.
Not yet.
Charlie.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Charlie Cox teases Matt Murdock's relationship with Margarita Leviva's Heather Glenn in Daredevil Born Again. Matt finds himself in a new and healthy relationship. What they discover about each other is that they have very different views about the role of a superhero, mass vigilante, and that leads to some poignant conversations. So it's very clear that she hates superheroes, which I'm curious about, kind of, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't really give a fuck because it's not Karen Page. So yeah.
No, I agree with that. I mean, I feel like they're trying really, really hard to like show people like this isn't the same as the Netflix show. This is gonna be different.
Yeah.
This is, and it's like, babe, like just produce a good show. That's all we need. Once you put a good show out there, you don't have to do all of this. You don't have to, you know what I mean? Like, so we'll see what happens. I'm gonna watch it. I'm a big fan of Charlie as Daredevil. I loved the Netflix show personally. And again, we know John Bernthal is gonna be making an appearance. So we'll see what happens with it. But yeah, I'm really not interested in his love interest one way or the other. That's not what I watched the show for. So hopefully that's not going to be, but it will be. Hopefully it won't be a big plot point, but I'm sure at some point she's going to end up being a damsel in distress that he has to save, and we'll see what happens. But I'm looking forward to the show regardless.
I don't hate you. Maybe you're just busy, Caleb.
Caleb, there's too much out there, babe. We understand.
You're good. Just like whenever you can, just try to watch Penguin.
Can't get to it all, hon.
I mean, it's been a while since like the Netflix show like came out, but like please try, because they're both great. But like if you can't, then that's fine.
We understand. It's all right.
I'm just so cautious about this because I want it to be good, but I don't trust Disney. Like, I feel like, what I kind of feel like a little bit with this story, but also what the showrunner was saying a few weeks ago or a few days ago. I forget how all the days blend together. I kind of feel like, maybe not embarrassed, but I feel like they kind of hate the fact that they had to go back and reshoot everything and like make it more like the Netflix show, because
but that was their mistake in the first place. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like the guys they hired, the showrunner, they wanted to do something that was nothing like the Netflix show. They wanted to make it like fun and like not, they didn't want to make it like the Netflix show. But
you can't do that and cast the same actor then. Like, if you want it to be completely different, it's got to be completely different.
And then they saw the and then they saw like the whole fucking like outcry, and they're like, okay, we got to make it like the Netflix show. And now they're like kind of like pouty about it because they're like, outcry, yes. Yes. They're like, I feel like they're kind of pouty about it. Like, oh, we're doing like this stuff that's different. It's 6 years later. It's different. They're doing different stuff. It's like, it's different. It's like, okay, fine. But it's like, we still want it to feel like the same show. Because if this is supposed to be a continuation, then
some continuity. Yeah. Like, listen, if you don't change in a 6 year time span, you're doing something wrong. So I get it to that degree, but at the same time, like, it's still the same guy. Like, you're not going to change him that much. You shouldn't be changing his environment that much. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think that's just them trying to, I don't know. I really don't know. Again, we've been saying time and time again, Marvel's marketing team,
they did say that
really needs to be fired, because they're just doing some stupid things and saying some dumb stuff. So whatever. But I'm very hopeful for this show. Like I said, I loved the Netflix series, so I'm sure Charlie's gonna have some input as well. So we'll see what they do.
Right. But I feel like this whole SFX magazine fucking interview was just like one like torching Earth kind of thing of just like just saying all the wrong things, because that's where like the whole like, oh, it's gonna be better than fucking the Penguin, it's gonna be, it's gonna be super amazing, it's super great. It's like, all right, calm down. But moving on
again,
to
a lot of people are saying some dumb things,
but moving on to another guy with C in his name, Chris Evans, great segue, denies returning to MCU for Avengers Doomsday. I'm happily retired. So before we get into this majorly, what are your thoughts about that? Relieved, angry?
I'll believe it when I see it. Truly, I'll believe it when I see it, because you throw a big enough bag in front of somebody, there's no reason why. And if RDJ calls him and says, "Listen, seriously, you need to be a part of this," he'll suit up. No, I don't. There's also some fandom thing. I think we have the graphic saying that he is in fact going to be in it, and this is who he's going to be playing. So I will see it when I believe it. That's all.
Yeah, so it's that's what I mean. Anthony Mackie said the same thing of like, oh, he's not coming back. But remember, going back to, speaking of Andrew Garfield, this is the man that denied being in this movie for like 2 years.
Right.
And it turns out there he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I'm not going to watch the movie anyway, but it's like, it just feels like, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Because he could be totally bullshitting. He could be like, I'm totally not in it. I'm totally not.
They're reporting that quite literally everyone is coming back for it. Even dead people are going to be back for it, because they're all going to be variants, and it's going to be otherworld, and it's going to. So I wouldn't count anything out. I feel like it's way too early. And again, they're going to throw a giant bag at his feet. You're going to tell me he's going to say no, thank you? I don't think so. I'm sure his wife is going to end up making some pregnancy announcement a couple months from now. He's going to want all the dollars. So we'll see what happens.
Like he's not, like he can't fucking retire now, being part of the MCU for 10 years.
RDJ could have retired. They all do it for a reason. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, here's what I was talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
So they're right there. Right there it says he's coming back as a member of Hydra. So we'll see what happens. Some of these are really unbelievable to me, and then other ones I'm like, oh, that's cool. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I don't know the source well enough to know whether or not that's something that can be trusted. So
yeah. But going from shit people actually care about, like the next Avengers movie, let's go to shit nobody cares about, like Armor Wars. Apparently this got canceled. Anybody give a fuck? I don't.
If I knew anything about it, if I knew anything about what it was going to be about, who was going to be involved, aside from Don Cheadle, maybe I would care. But they really, I mean, they've kind of kept this under wraps the whole time, with the exception of the title. So it sounds like the project was dead from the beginning anyway.
Yeah, this shit was DOA, because it's like, it was supposed to be a series, but then it was like, oh no, now it's going to be a movie.
Right.
And I think I don't think it's, I mean, they say it's as good as Dead. I mean, that's essentially what the Blade movie is. It's pretty much like, it's like on a shelf, and it's going to remain on that shelf.
No, thank you.
Next time, baby. But I don't there you go. I don't really, again, it's tough for me to talk about Marvel stuff, because I don't plan on ever seeing these movies outside of like a couple of them that I'm maybe like Fantastic Four, anything Spider-Man related.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, just kill it. The armor is dead.
Right. Well, again, they haven't given us enough information to give a damn one way or the other.
Because I don't think it's going to be based on the comic book story arc with the same name back in, like, I think it was like back in like the 80s.
Yeah.
They have finesse. Yeah. Thanks, Jose. But yeah, I don't think,
I mean,
maybe
pretty much.
I think that was, I think you might be right on that one. Because I think it involved extremists.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's it was it was the late 80s, and it was I don't think it was the name of the arc that was like for Iron Man number 225 to 232. And the main characters were one of them was Justin Hammer. So it was a rumor that he was going to come back and be the villain here. Or it was going to focus on Don Cheadle, like doing stuff for like it was going to be like, I think like Justin Hammer like was going to get like tech and like he was going to rebuild everything. And then like Don Cheadle had to fucking stop. I'm calling him Don Cheadle and not War Machine, but that's essentially what it was. And like he was going to try and make like more Iron Man suits kind of thing. I think that's the rumors I saw, but like I think that's kind of it. But nothing of note, because like not really a ton of people care about this. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like seeing, oh, there he is. There's that beautiful, like, whenever I feel like it's written into Sam Rockwell's contracts that he has to dance in like every movie. Because it's like
we certainly saw that in Argyle. Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was a dancer at some point, right?
That I don't know.
I think that's what he went to like school for.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
I think that's what it was. But yeah. Not a ton of people care, so moving on. But speaking of things that people do care about, which is X-Men, because apparently this dude, I don't know who he is, but Jack Champion is reportedly being considered for the role of Cyclops in the X-Men reboot film.
Apparently everybody and their mother is being considered for Cyclops, so cool, man. Cool. Great. As long as it's not James coming back, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. So
yeah, just don't have that prick come back and we should be okay.
Apparently, Harris from Baby Girl is also being considered. As long as they shave his stupid pubes off his face, I'm fine with that too. So again, we'll see what happens.
Harris Dickinson, right?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. I mean, Disney's probably gonna fuck up X-Men, so I don't really care.
It's a real shame.
So this is cool, I guess. I don't know who this guy is. He's got those.
He looks like a member
he's got those
of Stranger Things, actually.
He has those piano keys teeth, looking at teeth. But he looks like every like good looking twinkish guy that's popular now that all the ladies love, yet I have no fucking clue who he is. So
he was one of the shitty kids in Retribution with Liam Neeson. He was in Scream 4.
Oh.
Apparently he's in Avatar, probably a shitty kid in Avatar. Yeah, okay, good for him. We'll see what happens. Like I said, apparently they're potentially looking at everyone and their mother for Cyclops. Hopefully, like I said, everyone but James would be great. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Cool, I guess. A lot of people are saying no in the comments. So
yeah, here we are. Harris Dickinson. Again, shave the pubes off your face and fine. I don't care. It's not that Cyclops is not my favorite anyway, so.
Does anybody really? Cyclops is a
He would be a better Gambit than Channing, though. Let's be fair. Sorry, Channing, but he has the Gambit look. That's the look.
But somebody said Nightcrawler, not
Jared
Cyclops.
Leto for Cyclops. Jared Leto for
Jared Leto.
What?
No, X-Men needs to be a one-man show for.
Why
needs
not?
to be a one-man
He'll
show
play
for
everybody.
X-Men. Let's go.
He'll play everybody.
But yeah. Cool. Guess.
Yeah.
Apparently, they are going to go ahead with Black Panther 3, and a character named Achebe will reportedly be the villain of Black Panther 3. Who?
I did look him up. He has a very interesting backstory that is that goes along perfectly well with some of the plots we've seen already for Black Panther. So it'll be interesting to see who they cast for it. I could definitely see like Mahershala for something like that. But we'll see. I mean,
he's still gonna be Blade, so who knows?
Well, give it a Google. Look up this character's backstory because it's certainly very meaty. It's certainly very tragic. So that'll be a really good dynamic. You know, as impactful as the second film was, it didn't really have the kind of gravitas as far as the villain and hero dynamic. But this story, I think, definitely will. So,
the fact that they pretty much had to change everything after Chadwick's
yeah,
passing, that's
yeah,
fair a little bit.
yeah,
And they was like, they were trying to make like a whole tribute to him and whatnot. So it's like that's a little bit understandable.
yeah.
Yeah, somebody said Denzel. Like, well, Denzel said he had a cameo, but I don't think he's going to be the main villain.
Yeah, I doubt that. Yeah.
Jalen Harris, and I'm mad again. There you go. There's gonna be one blade. There's only ever gonna be one blade. Bro, this next Jalen saying, bro, this next Black Panther movie better be good or better than the last one or else.
Yeah, Jaimin would be a good cast for that as well. So again, we'll see what happens. I'm not really sure as far as the timeline how old this character is supposed to be, but we'll see what happens. As long as they're all over 6 feet tall, because apparently that's all that matters. So.
Also, yeah, gotta agree with Ivan. So who's he? Homework time, Denzel.
Yeah.
Denzel.
Everybody.
So we'll see with that one. But going from one
I
villain,
completely agree, Hosea. So yeah,
we'll from one villain to another, we got somebody lit up the leader's face, and wow, he looks like dog shit.
I mean, he's not supposed to be hot, so that's okay.
Well, yeah, but like, I don't know. I feel like that fan art was like being really kind because he just looks like a dude with an exposed brain. And I'm like, I guess that's a cool idea, but that's not what. Maybe the fan art was just being like, oh, it's just fan art, like, or was it official art? Was it official art or fan art? I don't remember now.
I think it was fan art at if I'm remembering right.
Maybe it was. Maybe that's what, because I remember they're like, oh, this is the first official look at the leader because Marvel is posting. I think it was, what it probably was. It was probably fan art that Marvel posted, and then they didn't give them credit or something.
Yeah.
But I think anyway. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting look. It's kind of crazy how Pete Seeger in A Complete Unknown looks more like the leader than the leader does. So, cool.
We'll see.
I guess.
Yep.
God, this movie looks DOA. It looks DOA. Like, ugh. Like it's kind of a cool idea, but like, it's just like I prefer what. I don't know. The comics looked great. Like, why you gotta change that up?
Yeah. Okay.
But going from Hulk to Spider-Man, the first 2 episodes of Your Friendly Neighborhood Hire Spider-Man here. We just talked about it.
Yeah.
Featuring exciting Easter eggs. This one has a whole bunch of Easter eggs.
Yeah. So we see Doctor Strange right off the bat. That's how the show opens. Is Doctor Strange makes an appearance. There's a photo of Captain America with oh my god, I'm drawing a blank now. With Oz, with yeah, I mean, there's a couple different things here or there. They've got a little Iron Man rear view mirror accessory hanging in their car, like so we know for a fact that we're in, they kind of set the scene, like we know these, like the supers are in the world, they're known in the world. But yeah, I will say, not to give too much away, but the way Spider-Man gets bit by the spider, but the way Peter gets bit by the spider was kind of lackluster for me. I was like, oh, all right. But
it was kind of,
it was just kind of like a throwaway almost.
My friend said that like he didn't like it. I can kind of see looking back, it was a little contrived. It was just like, so like, all right, Doctor Strange is fighting this fucking alien symbiote and like this Venom looking motherfucker, and it's just, oh, by the way, here's a spider. It's like, okay, why not just, I think you should have just had him have his powers already, but then like have something happen. Maybe have Uncle Ben be fucking alive and then he dies. and he has to learn great power comes great responsibility.
But how
Like,
many times are we going to get that story though? Like I'm
we've gotten
starting
it twice. We
Yeah.
have gotten it twice. We have seen the
Well-
Waynes die way more fucking times, and it's fine. We got it twice, and they don't even fucking mention
Okay.
him in the goddamn movies. Like
Okay.
we haven't seen Uncle Ben die that much twice, 2 times. 2 out of 3
Just
ain't
saying.
bad.
Just saying we get it. We know it. We don't.
I know,
don't
but
know.
it's just like
But I feel like we're
it's
every
awkward
time we
pacing.
do a new version, we're back to the well. Like, again, like James Gunn is saying, like, how many times do we need an origin story?
I know,
from
it's
the same
just
character.
it's just weird. I feel like this was the case where he either should have had his powers already, or they should have built it up properly rather
Yeah.
than making it a throwaway. It's just like they should have had like maybe the
Well, right,
entire
yeah.
first episode without his powers. Like he goes through like high school, all that shit, and then like whether he goes
Yeah.
to the Oscorp like in the comics, and he gets bitten, blah 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 blah. Or I don't think in the comics it was just the field trip, and then he gets bitten, and then that's it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's fine. Like
Yeah.
I understand like not showing Uncle Ben, but it's like at the same time it's just like they should have either built it up way more or had him already have his powers. But he learns at some point in the episode, great power comes great responsibility, and then learns to become a hero. So
Sure.
yeah, I like how they kind of do the best of both worlds, and I like I don't mind that, like, spoiler alert, Norman Osborn knows by the end of the episode of the second episode, and it seems like we'll be getting to that soon. So it seems like we're gonna be getting this big updated suit, but then there's gonna be probably the idea of blackmail later on in the season.
Oh, 100%.
So there's going to be all that shit. So it's definitely an intriguing setup for what we will get soon, and I'm excited for that. But yeah, I liked the Easter eggs. I thought they were really fun. Like, they have the introduction, but it's Norman Osborn instead of Stark. They have the do a flip guy in there. They had Captain America posing with Norman Osborn, and as I was saying, Amadeus Cho, and nothing gets by you, Hawkeye. I'm like, all right, that's cute. So that's I kind of like that stuff. But moving on to the last bit of MCU news, we have this cool graphic of forgot I don't have the Insta.
Yeah.
So
That's stuff we already know. Yeah.
So yeah, just like a sort of like allegedly we're gonna be getting the obvious ones are Spider-Man, Daredevil, and Ironheart. But,
Right.
and Eyes of Wakanda, but it's like, oh, are we getting Marvel Zombies or Wonder Man this year? We'll see. And then we're
Yeah.
going to be getting those 3. So just like a catch up of like, hey, here's what you missed. So cool. Thoughts?
Well, again, one of the rumors is that Wonder Man is going to show up in Doomsday, so it would make sense if they want to kind of give you a little background of that character, a little introduction to that character prior to them showing up in the film. But again, we really don't know what to believe about Doomsday aside from the fact that RDJ is going to be in it. That's pretty much it right now. So we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's that's about it for and hold on, but that is it for MC Weekly. But don't worry, don't go away soon just yet, because we are going to be tackling DC in a second. But make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe and put the notifications on so when we go live. So do all that shit, you lazy bums. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, let me get him.
Why?
Okay. Then.
Why? Okay. Sure. Let's move on to DC stuff now. Let's do that. Let's you know what? Let's start with a rant. Wouldn't you like that, Liz? Because we love to give our rants. I'm gonna start with a rant because let's get into the stuff before we get into the major thing in regards to Superman. Let's make fun of Rob Liefeld being a fucking prick yet again. So apparently, Deadpool creator Robert Liefeld criticized James Gunn's Superman flying scene on X. Oh man, that last shot is bad. Says the man who can't draw feet or Spider or fucking Captain America's chest. Here's a new title for you. Overrated artist whose only relevancy is when he's old man yelling at cloud shit, criticizes something that will be way better than anything he's ever done. And that's it. Like, why are you fucking talking? Why are you talking?
We're getting a lot of this these days. Why are you people stop talking? Stop talking. Like, why are you talking? Like, and again, there's so much available to watch. Just sit at the comfort of your home with your pet of choice, a blanket, a nice cup of coffee, and turn on some TV, some movies. Stop putting your opinions out into the world because nobody asked. Let's start there. Nobody fucking
overrated
asked
artists. I mentioned this comment when I first saw this. Overrated artist who can't draw to save his life has opinion no one asked for. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Because Rob Liefeld, shut the fuck up. I know everyone's going, oh, but he created Deadpool. Motherfucker, he is the father of Deadpool, but he ain't the daddy. Sure, he created a character named Deadpool, but writers like Joe Kelly came in and made the character he is today. You know what Rob Liefeld created? Rob Liefeld created a generic hitman who just wore a red suit. Subsequent writers and artists made the character the fourth wall breaking insanity shitbag that he's known of as today. All right, that's what they created. Rob Liefeld just had the blue. He's like the Bob Kane of Deadpool. Yeah, sure, he might have created the Deadpool, but subsequent writers actually made the character he is today. So don't even fucking bring that fucking Liefeld shit. Oh, he created Deadpool. Fucking that's the if that's the one thing he's done, he can fucking suck my ass. All right. One thing, and he barely even fucking did that. So Liefeld, can you like delete your Twitter? Because please shut the fuck up. You're an asshole. You're a shitty fucking artist, and the world of comics would have been better without your fucking sorry ass. There, I fucking said it. Rob, suck a fucking cock. Eat a dick. Go to the fucking corner where no one is gonna ever call your name ever again. You fucking sack of shit. Anyway. Who's excited for that new Superman movie, guys?
Hey, man, it's going to be great. Can't wait.
Great. It's going to be
great.
Look up, guys. Look up. Anyway. Sorry. I just needed to get that out. Anyway, let's move on to bigger and better things.
Hooray.
So this was pretty much confirmed like way long time ago, but James Gunn has to reiterate himself. He was talking about how, James Gunn on whether or not Jonathan Kent will be alive in Superman. I don't think I'd hire Pruitt to play a dead person for an entire movie. He said this when the motherfucker was cast, so I don't know why he's got to say that again, but here we are. So yeah,
people are annoying.
But yeah, he's gonna be alive. Now at the most they might do like a slow death thing that like maybe he has like cancer or something.
He looks a little cancerous in this shot, to be fair.
Ouch.
But
wow, that's
I know,
mean.
I know. But
you
it's
have something
true.
against bald fat men, Liz?
No, it's the skincare and the.
Is that what you're trying? Is that what?
No, he looks. He just looks like he's deteriorating. Is all I'm saying.
He's just old.
Superman,
like
Clark Kent looks a little beat up about the fact. So I'm just saying. It doesn't look good for the guy. That's all I'm gonna throw. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Not liking his chances by the end of the film. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah, like literally. God, I fucking hate Rob Liefeld so much. Like, he has one thing. And that's not even. He didn't even do anything. Like, Dan, bring up the Captain America fucking panel from that Rob Liefeld drew. Everyone knows what I'm talking about, but I'm still gonna bring it up anyway. But Dan, bring that up, if you can. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, it's pretty much confirmed that like, yeah, he's gonna be alive. At the very most, it's gonna be like the slow death of like, oh, maybe he has cancer, he has some disease, but he's gonna be alive. Maybe he dies in a later film, but they're gonna do the post-crisis. thing. Oh, look at this. Hey, hey, Rob, you have not. Oh yeah, that shot looked bad. That shot looked bad.
Oh my God.
Hi.
That's
Hi
awful.
there. Hello.
It's so they have him in profile, but his chest is in 3/4 perspective, and for some reason the same width as the rest of his body. Okay. That is
Yeah. That shot's bad.
that's criminal. He
That's-
should be thrown in jail, quite frankly.
Yeah.
That's and someone
Yeah.
paid him for that? No,
Yep.
no, sir. No, sir.
And it gets
That
worse.
is-
Like again, the joke is like Rob Liefeld can't draw
Ooh.
feet. It's just like
It
slabs.
doesn't look
of,
like he can draw anything.
He can't.
That's a real shame.
So yeah, if
Ouch.
just kind of just inserting that in there because yeah, fuck
I've
you,
just
Rob
never
Liefeld.
seen a characters make eye contact with you while at the same time their nipples are making eye contact with you. Like that's very bizarre. Very bizarre perspective.
Yeah.
Wow.
Rob Liefeld sucks. But let's
Sure
not
does.
focus on that dweeb. Let's not.
Yeah, let's move along.
So, yeah. Like, bro.
Was he drawing a gorilla there? Was that the goal?
I mean, it is Beast, so I
Okay.
mean that makes sense. But
Okay.
like, oof, let's not get the foot fetish people into this chat.
Let's just move along.
But anyway, Pruitt Taylor Vince, he's gonna be alive. Jonathan Kent's gonna be fully alive for at least one movie, but I think they're gonna pull a post-crisis where the Kents remain alive for all this time. But that's not the big story that we need to get into. The big story is, of course, Superman Estate sues the Warner Brothers Discovery DC Comics to block release in key territories. So that seems like the big, that's the big news today.
Yeah.
So apparently, the estate of Superman creator, specifically Joe Schuster, is suing Warner Brothers Discovery and DC Comics, claiming it lacks the rights to release the upcoming summer tentpole in a handful of key territories. So apparently they filed the suit today in federal court in New York, seeking damages and injunctive relief for defendants' ongoing infringement in Canada, the United Kingdom, Ireland, and Australia, as well as declaratory relief establishing the Schuster's estate's ownership rights across relevant jurisdictions. So, it seems like they're acting on like direct infringement, and it's intentionally like fucking things up and like a disregard of what they did, and like this.
But again, in certain
in certain countries. So it's Canada, the UK, Ireland, and Australia. So the state is asking for the court for a cease and desist order, enjoining defendants, their officers, agents, employees, and those acting in concert with them, preliminary during the pendency of this action and permanently thereafter. And it goes into a lot of technical jargon. So like essentially infringing on copyright, copying and duplicating, licensing, and all this stuff. So essentially all of this like lawyer jargon that is kind of complicated and a little bit much for all of us here. The lawsuit is seeking to stop the release of the movie without Joe Schuster's estate's expressed written consent, monetary damages for using Superman since 2017, which was, essentially after like a major Superman film, because we got Man of Steel, because they did try to do the same thing, because it's because like pretty much every time a Superman movie comes out, the estates of Schuster and Siegel do try to sue WB because they feel like they're owed the licensing for Superman, even though they technically sold the rights back in like the 40s. So, and even though they still get credit, they Schuster and Siegel technically don't own the rights. So, what it is, it's essentially, and 2017 was after Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, and Justice League I don't think counts. So that's when the rights to, I believe, whoever was the latter one dying, I think it was Joe Schuster. I think that's why it's the Joe Schuster estate, not the Jerry Siegel estate.
Right.
They're trying to stop the release of the movie without without their consent, but they want the consent. So, they want the rights reverted back to the creators in the licensing countries of the UK, Canada, Ireland, and Australia. So, I think yeah, it's definitely a lot of stuff, and it seems like it's gonna be stopped. It might be stopping release in those countries, and I'm curious to know, do you think it's gonna 100% stopped, or do you think they're gonna come to a agreement before the movie officially comes out in those countries?
Well, it sounds like this is a trend of theirs that they've tried this a couple of times. Listen, the studio certainly has enough money to throw a nice big bag at them and hopefully get them to calm down and go away. But you would think, like, if this keeps coming up, wouldn't they want to preemptively try to do something once and for all about it? I don't know. I mean, it's always disappointing because, hindsight is 2020, right? So they didn't they made a bad deal decades ago, didn't think it was going to go anywhere, didn't think that they were going to continue to make films, make money off of this character, and this is where we're at. So,
Yeah.
too bad, so
And they
sad.
they have. Thank you,
know.
TC24. Thank you for bringing that up. These
Right.
countries have different copyright laws, hence why it's these countries and not the United States.
Yeah.
And the reason it's different from when they sued back in from when they tried to get Man of Steel off the ground is because they didn't reach the 25-year mark since Joe Schuster
Okay.
died,
Yeah.
which happened in 2017, which it says right here. The
Right.
Schuster died in 1992 by operation by law. Schuster's foreign copyrights specifically automatically reverted to his estate in 2017. So now there is like a bit of butting head. So it's technically
Yeah.
different from what they've tried in the past. That was just like
Okay.
suing them for proper royalties. Now
Sure.
it's like this is an infringement of Schuster's estate's copyright, which
Well,
might have
again,
WB in the wrong.
Yeah. Well, again, I hope in this instance they learn from that mistake, give these people what
International,
they
yep.
want, and can move on so that we can continue with these kinds of projects without all the drama. But who knows? Once more people connected to this start passing away, maybe it will be a moot point anyway. So we'll see what happens.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't think we should abolish copyright law, Casey. I think there is
definitely
some
not. Definitely.
I mean, because do you want like terrible horror movies of every like character known to man? I don't.
I mean, we're
yeah.
on that track. But
yeah, I think they're just gonna try and settle out of court. But to be fair, there have been, I mean, the same thing happened with not the same thing, but similar thing happened with Bill Finger. Although very, very different, where WB and DC thought they were just gonna like let things lie, but they're like, no, we want Bill Finger's name on Batman, and we're gonna fucking keep fighting until we get that. And while we did, it's like oh, it can't say Bob Kane and Bill Finger. It has to say Bob Kane with Bill Finger. Like it has to even be condescending in that respect. Because Manos is because, as we were saying before, there is foreign copyright territories. Like, see, as you can see here, Schuster died in 1992 and Siegel in 1996 by operation of law. Schuster's foreign copyrights automatically reverted to his estate in 2017, because it has to be a 25-year window in these territories that we've mentioned, which is, as you can see above, Canada, UK, Ireland, and Australia. And the thing is, those copyrights are different because it's different laws for different countries. So yeah, there is that. But I think I don't think that's the reason. It's just like Superman has never seemed to. I think they're afraid ever since Christopher Reeve died that they're like, oh no, we can't fucking do this shit. But I don't think it's a snake. I think WB is the snakes here, though. Why are you like shitting on the little guy and like raising the corporation? It's just, of course they are. But it's just, it's justice. Like they want what they're deserved. It's like it's this estate trying to get like this. It's law. It's actual law. They're not trying to like be sneaky about it. It's just like they literally had to wait because of certain like laws and certain years and certain periods to get back to address these copyrights. So it's like I don't think I think it's just WB being, you know, assholes. So it's like I feel like maybe they couldn't. I think it'll probably end in a settlement, but obviously we will have to see. But I don't think this is going to stop the movie coming out in those countries. I don't think it will. It's just it's too big of a thing, and WB wants this is their like golden goose at this point because like everything is riding on this movie. So we'll have to see. But like, it'll most likely end in a settlement. What do you think?
I have no thoughts.
Do you think it'll end in a settlement or no?
I'm sure it will, because it has in the past, and they're not going to let anything stop this movie from coming out and getting to as many audiences as humanly possible. And again, you know, from some people's perspective, it sounds like all these people want is a bag. So give them a nice big bag and let them move on our merry way, and we can all be happy. So I'm sure that's going to be the outcome at the end of the day.
Yeah. You know, I think yeah, I know it's sucky timing, don't get me wrong, but it's like I still feel like, you know, I don't think it's revealed how much money they're asking for. I don't believe they said anything specifically. I think they're just because it's just like I think they're just fighting the law to like get the copyright stuff situated before this blows into yeah, exactly. Judge, it's going to be specifically a judge and jury thing. So,
yeah,
you know, I don't think they're asking for like money specifically, but yeah, there's like a whole bunch of for all the people that can understand the fucking techno jargon of lawyer stuff, then by all means go read it. But yeah, I think most likely settlement or figure it out or whatever the resulting thing will be. Worst comes to worst, some countries that I'm not in will not get the movie, but I don't care about that. I'm getting the movie, so fuck all y'all. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, I hope it, you know, so everyone can see this movie. Then that, but it's kind of on the fence, but it's most likely going to be settled by the release. I mean, we got like another. Well, now it's February for us on the East Coast, but so we have another now 5 months. 5 to 5.5 months to figure this out. So I think that's enough time. Or whenever, you know, it's going to come out in those countries. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It was a different hi Hugo Millie. It was a different
circumstance.
Case. It was a different case, different circumstance for so for Man of Steel, it was the estates suing WB for royalties. Now it's copyright. It's not the royalties for the character of Superman. It's the copyright in international law. Essentially, they feel like not feel like they are, you know, owed for, you know, copyright, and you know, since copyright takes time in other countries with, you know, different laws, then they have to, you know, fight that. And I think, you know, as people are saying, I don't think it will affect it. I think it'll be fine in the end.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, I don't know about 20. I don't think it's a money thing. I think it's copyright law. I don't think it's just them getting money. I don't think it's that. Like, I don't think this is the case of WB throwing money at the problem and it'll fix.
But if it is copyright law, it's not going to be a large check. It'll be like royalties. It'll be a slow trickle over an extended period of time. So we just have to wait and see what happens. But I don't expect this to affect the release of the film whatsoever.
Yeah. But I think it'll be settled, not in a money point, in a, you know, in a law point. So, it'll whatever they have to do, they will, and it'll be settled by then.
Right.
Yeah, or settled for whatever the law is. So, yeah, that's it's a big pile of jargon.
It's above all of our pay
understand.
grades. That's for sure. We only understand a modicum of the overall situation.
Pretty much. But that's it for DCU Daily. Don't go away just yet, because we're gonna be talking about our preview for next week in terms of movie of the week. But remember, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.
Yeah, let me get him.
Please stop.
This is what we've become.
Apparently so. But thanks for watching. But let's look to we're going to be also reviewing Dogman and Companion next week. But in addition to those, we are also going to be talking about Love Hurts. Ke-Huy Quan coming in, avoiding post-Oscar award fatigue.
Ke-Huy Quan.
What are your thoughts about this amazing looking movie?
It looks like a good time, babe. It looks like a good time from start to finish. I don't see a sequel in its future, but we'll see what happens. People do love a cash grab if they can possibly get one. I know somehow Steven Spielberg is somewhat involved with this. I guess Ke-Huy Quan sat down with him and said, this is something that I've been thinking about. So he kind of helped him make this happen, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, Marshawn Lynch is in it. Like, come on. Like, I'm
just here so I don't get fined.
I'm so pumped for this movie. This movie looks like just a joy from start to finish. It's not going to be anything. It's not going to be a masterpiece. It's not going to be anything that's going to like change the world of cinema. It just looks like a good time. Like, these are the kinds of reasons we go see movies in the theater. So I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Oh yeah, this looks like a ton of fun. Like, I love like all these posters, and I'm liking the cast.
Sean Astin is in it, so we're getting a mini Goonies reunion as well, which is also very exciting. So I'm just, and
we're gonna get this chick. I don't know who she is. I know she won an Oscar, but cool. She looks great.
She was in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. She's an incredible actress. She is absolutely phenomenal.
Excited.
I adore her. So it's gonna be a good time faux show. This is what you give up your Saturday afternoon for.
That's true. Enterprising, by the way. That's very true. Not every movie needs a sequel.
Exactly. And this one I feel certainly doesn't, but you never know. Exactly, Hosea. Like nobody. You took the words right out of my mouth. Nobody doesn't need a sequel either. We are getting some kind of sequel though from Nobody. But anyway,
we are going to get a Nobody sequel.
Yeah,
and
we are getting a Nobody sequel. I am stoked for it as well. But again, this is kind of along those same lines. We don't need a sequel, but hey, if we like this film as much as we like Nobody, well, I'll see the sequel too. So it's all good in my hood. So.
It's all good, man. Wait. Speaking of Nobody, it's all good, man. But yeah, I can't wait for it. Quan is, just like a wholesome boy that we need to love and protect at all costs. And I'm excited for his future now, as sort of rediscovering everything after, Everything Everywhere All at Once being, pretty great film. But yeah, I'm excited and I'm very happy for him. But
yeah,
that seems to be it, guys. That seems to be it for today. I know it's under 2 hours. That's crazy. But usually when Dan isn't here, we're pretty quick. But yeah, I maybe next on your letterboard, Liz, you should write "fuck Rob Liefeld." I would love that.
We'll see.
I like to take my time to savor the flavor as in the British way with the U. It's America, Dan. Come on now. But make sure to guys. We see the numbers. 31 people watching, and there's only 19 likes.
Come on, gang. That math don't math. No math.
Come on. Anyway, it tastes better. Anyway, #Vic deserved to die. Anyway, But yeah, like we love you guys commenting. We love,
We love you.
Where did you get that shirt?
We love you.
Hosea, I got this shirt from shop.dc.com. If they still have them, you can probably get them. I really enjoy my shirt. It's got, Superman logo. It's my 4th Superman shirt. I have one of them is in the wash, and then I have my 2 others, I think, in my drawer, where it's just the crest on blue, where it's the official movie one with like the lens flare in the background, and then one is just like a plain like crest. So I have all those. But yeah, we have thank you, Hosea. Hosea, Manos Time, Charles, Manos Time. John, if Superman sucks, which it won't, will you remove all your shirts? I just won't wear them in public.
That's fair.
So, but what I wanted to thank you guys for watching. Steven Ortega just commented, when are you guys coming back? On Monday? No, we're coming back on Tuesday. Liz is going to be busy on Monday, so we're coming back Tuesday.
Sorry.
But Hosea, Enterprising, Charles Volpe, Steven Ortega, Caleb, Lenny was in for a little bit. Nice to see her, as always. KC, TC24, Watcher, Jalen Harris, Hugo Millie.
Antonio.
Antonio, he was in for a little bit. This chick, Liz Marvel. And, all of you lovely people that watch but don't necessarily comment, we love you guys too. Yes, but I mean, me and Dan are going to be doing Monday, but Liz is coming back specifically Tuesday. But yes, but that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. We love and appreciate all of you.
Sure do.
We love and appreciate all of our audience, all the people we talk about, except Rob Liefeld. Fuck Rob Liefeld. But we'll see you next week for another just DCU Daily. Don't worry. Topic ideas, because there's sometimes a day where there's not a lot of news that we'd like to hear, like whether you guys are interested in watching. So obviously do that. We want to hear from you always. If you watch something DC or see something DC and want us to talk about, what Fancast gluten-free? What? A gluten-free for John. What? Oh, GF girlfriend. Ha ha ha. Eat a dick. Anyway, with that, let's leave. So see you guys next week. Shut up, Dan.